The air in Los Angeles, California, smells like expensive perfume and ozone. My Aunt Vivian's mansion, perched high in the Hollywood Hills, had a panoramic view of the entire basin, the city of angels glittering below, promising fame and fortune. For Vivian, it was a home. For me, Lilly, it was the finish line. Vivian was 70, childless, and immensely wealthy from an early investment in a tech startup that became a Los Angeles staple. I was her sole heir, the dutiful niece who moved from the Midwest to Los Angeles to take care of her. Everyone in her elite Los Angeles circle praised my sacrifice. They didn't know the sacrifice I was truly planning to make. My goal was simple: wait for her natural demise and inherit the sprawling property, which was a dream come true in the overpriced Los Angeles real estate market. But Vivian was stubbornly healthy. I needed to speed things up gently. My plan was the unraveling. I started small. Every night, I would move a single, insignificant object in her room: a photograph, a book, a small ceramic bird. In the morning, I'd feign concern. "Aunt Vivian, did you move your jewelry box again?" I saw it on the floor. Vivian, with her slightly fraying memory, would initially insist she hadn't, but my relentless, innocent questioning began to chip away at her certainty. "Maybe you did it in the night, Auntie." You know, the sleepwalking started again after we moved to Los Angeles. The vastness and isolation of the Los Angeles mansion made my job easy. No close neighbors. The staff only came during the day. At night, it was just the two of us and the endless city lights winking below in Los Angeles, California. The game escalated. My photographic memory, a tool I usually used for my art history degree, became my greatest weapon. I noted every routine, every pill, every habit in her Los Angeles life. I began subtly altering her medications, replacing her calming supplements with placebo or slightly stimulating vitamins, ensuring her anxiety spiked. When she complained of headaches, I'd sigh dramatically, "Oh, Auntie, that's just the stress. The doctor in Los Angeles said you need to relax." One terrifying afternoon in our Los Angeles home, Vivian found her car keys locked in the oven. I had put them there. "Lilly, you moved my keys." "You are trying to control me," she shrieked, her face white with fear. I maintained a perfect, concerned facade. "Auntie, darling, I know you're stressed, but the key to your vintage Mercedes? In the oven? Maybe we should call your Los Angeles doctor again. We need to tell him about the confusion." The word confusion was my key. Every time she fought back, I used that word. Soon, her Los Angeles social circle began to receive distress calls from her, rambling about things moving and voices in the walls. They assumed she was becoming senile. They called me the perfect niece for assurance. "Don't worry," I would coo, "it's just a phase. I'm taking wonderful care of her here in Los Angeles." The irony was delicious. The more I drove her insane, the more trustworthy I became to the outside world in Los Angeles, California. The entire city was my audience, and they believed my script entirely. My timeline was tight. I knew I needed to maintain this facade for another month before I could subtly push her over the edge. But Vivian, despite her mental state, had a core of steel. 2 weeks ago, Vivian called her longtime attorney, Mr. Thompson, who also handled a lot of high-profile wills in Los Angeles. I wasn't allowed in the room. That evening, she was eerily calm. She sat by the window, watching the setting sun cast long, golden shadows over Los Angeles. "Lilly," she said, her voice clear. "I saw the key in your pocket. I saw you move the photos. And I changed my will today." My breath hitched. My heart hammered a frantic rhythm against the quiet calm of the Los Angeles night. "Auntie, please, don't be paranoid." "Stop calling me that," she screamed, her voice suddenly regaining its old strength. "You are not my family. You are a leech. I left everything, this beautiful Los Angeles home, the money, everything, to the chimpanzee trust. They deserve it more than you, you cold, manipulative monster." The words hit me like a physical blow. The years of effort, the meticulous planning, the move to Los Angeles, all for nothing. The fury was volcanic. I didn't think, I only acted. The crystal paperweight on her desk, a souvenir from a trip to Italy, was heavy. The silence after the impact was absolute, broken only by the distant hum of traffic from Los Angeles below. She lay motionless on the Persian rug. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the adrenaline rush of having finally crossed the line. The deed was done, but the wealth was gone. I sat there, staring at the panoramic, glittering view of Los Angeles, California. I had eliminated the burden, but the inheritance was lost. Unless a terrifying, brilliant idea took hold. If Vivian was dead and her lawyer knew the new will was signed, I got nothing. But if Vivian was simply too sick, I cleaned the scene meticulously. I buried her body under the freshly poured cement on the large terrace overlooking the city. A fitting tomb for a woman who loved the view of Los Angeles. Then I went to her closet, put on her silk robe, styled my hair like hers, and practiced her voice in the mirror. Lilly was gone. Vivian was home, just ill. For the next 2 months, I was Vivian. I lived her life in that stunning Los Angeles mansion. I communicated solely by phone and cryptic notes, explaining to her Los Angeles friends and attorney that the paranoia has gotten so bad that I cannot see anyone. They all believed the narrative I had so meticulously established. I had to become Vivian entirely. I adopted her slow walk, her particular way of holding a coffee cup, even her favorite brand of expensive Los Angeles perfume. The money was still technically hers, but I was spending it. I was living my dream in Los Angeles, California. But the psychological toll was immense. Every knock on the door, every unfamiliar car driving up the winding Los Angeles hill sent a spear of panic through me. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't risk anyone seeing the real Lilly. The greatest fear came from Mr. Thompson, the lawyer. He kept insisting on a welfare check. I'd snap at him in Vivian's low, raspy voice. I told you, Thompson. I'm fine. Stop bothering me with the paperwork. This is my Los Angeles home, and I'll see who I want. He would back down, but I knew my time was running out. Then came the final, devastating emotional blow. While searching her old documents, I found a small, personal envelope addressed to me, dated a week before the murder. It wasn't the will. It was a note. It was in her handwriting, calm and steady. My dearest Lilly, I know you've been moving things. I know you're struggling. I saw the darkness in your eyes when you first came to Los Angeles. But I also saw the little girl who needed love. I changed the will because I know you, and I know what money does to people. I wanted to save you from yourself. I've set up a trust in your name, Lilly, that can only be accessed after 5 years of proven stability and therapy. I love you. Please find the good in you. She knew. She wasn't paranoid. She was aware. Her final act wasn't revenge. It was an attempt to save me from the person I was becoming. The tears that night were real, tears of genuine grief and self-loathing. I hadn't just killed an old woman. I had killed the one person who truly tried to love me in Los Angeles, California. 3 weeks ago, the final shoe dropped. The Los Angeles police arrived. Not for Vivian, but for James, the man who handled her landscaping and concrete work. He had gone missing right around the time I cemented the terrace. His wife had reported him missing. Detective Jones, a sharp-eyed woman, spoke to me through the intercom. Mrs. Vivian, we just need to ask you about Mr. James. He did some work on your terrace in Los Angeles recently. I used Vivian's shaky voice. He was fine, detective. He just left. I think he took another job in Los Angeles. We just have one more question, Mrs. Vivian, the detective said, her voice dangerously calm. We've run the concrete sample from your terrace. It's not the same batch James used on the retaining wall. It was freshly mixed. My facade shattered. I looked out at the lights of Los Angeles, the beautiful city that was now my witness and my accuser. I finally dropped the act. I opened the door and stood before them, the real Lilly, dressed in Vivian's silk robe, my eyes wild and red. It's not James you should be asking about, I whispered, my voice cracked with years of forced pretense. Ask about Vivian. Ask about the perfect niece who finally got her space in Los Angeles, California. I confessed everything. Standing there on the porch of the mansion I had craved, I felt a strange sense of peace. The performance was over. As they led me away, The first morning light of Los Angeles broke over the city. It was the moment I realized the ultimate truth. I had successfully lived Vivian's life for 2 months, but I would now spend the rest of my real life paying for my monstrous act. The true prison wasn't the house. It was the guilt cemented into my soul, mirroring the cold concrete on the terrace that eternally overlooked the beautiful, brutal city of Los Angeles.